just to make sure that our network is quite strong.
Done.
Alison, do let me know if you can hear me or if you can say something. Okay, perfect. I think we've lost Alison. We'll just have to give her like a couple of minutes or so to see if she can be able to rejoin. But then in the interim, what I'll do is I will speak about going over to our social media platforms using a hashtag CAC 2021, sharing and engaging with us. I know today it's our last day, but this workshop is quite very exciting. I can't wait to see what Mpumi and Alison are going to be sharing. Mpumi, do you also maybe want to jump in and maybe speak about what you're looking forward to engaging between yourself and Alison as soon as Alison is back on the line?
Okay, no problem. Good morning, everyone. I'm looking forward to sharing the information about the Acetage Kickstarter program, which is a very exciting program, which we do in our schools all over South Africa. So I'm just looking forward to hearing from other people what they think about it. And I'm hoping that some of our teachers are here too, so they can also share things that they've learned throughout our project.
Thank you. I see, Alison, you're back online. Please do let me know if you can hear me. And can you just say good morning so that I can make sure I can hear you as well?
Good morning. This is much better. Sorry, there was a horrible delay previously. Apologies for the technical issue.
Okay, perfect. Thank you very much, Alison. So I'm just going to ask you if Mpumi, Alison, I think I'm going to just hand over to you. I'll be here. I'll be monitoring the question and answer sessions, and I'll also look at the chats. And if there's any other issues, technical and anything else, I am here to help. I will let you know 5 minutes before your session ends, and we'll open up the floor for a question and answer. Is that good? Thank you very much.
Awesome.
Over to you.
Thank you so much. Welcome, everybody. I apologize for some technical issues earlier. Thank you for being with us this morning. I'm going to jump right in because I know our session time is quite limited and we're now a little bit late because of the technical issues. So my name is Alison Green and I'm the Education Manager at Acetage South Africa. And this morning we are talking to you about the Kickstarter Creative Arts Empowerment Project, which is a project I've been running since 2015. So give me a second while I screen share. Oh, it's disabled. Can someone allow me to screen share, please?
Okay, Alison, I've noted our IT team. They're still busy with that.
Okay, perfect. So maybe we have time for a quick embodiment exercise to kick us off. I invite everyone to join me. I'm just going to change my screen and move back a bit. So hopefully you can, oh, you can't see my face. Okay, so we're going to start with a very quick exercise. I invite you, everyone who is watching this morning, to join me, to stand up, to get out of your beds if you're still in bed. This is a very simple body percussion exercise, and it works in the following way. So body percussion is just making sounds with your body. So this is a sequence. What we do is we clap on our thighs, we clap our hands, we click our fingers. So it goes in a rhythm like this. Join me if you can. So we do that, and we do that twice, and I'll demonstrate.
Hi, Alison. Sorry to disturb you. You can share now. You can share your screen now.
Okay, excellent. I'm just going to run with this exercise, and then I'll share when I'm done. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
All right, so we're going to go with the body percussion exercise. The rhythm goes like this. Ba, ba, da. Okay, so we're going to do that twice together. I hope everyone's joining me. I can't see people, but I'm hoping that they're joining us at home in their lounges or their bedrooms. So on 3, 1, 2, 3, and ba. Very simple. So now on the third round, it changes slightly and it goes like this. You start off the same, you slap, you clap, you click, but then we go backwards. You clap, you slap, you clap, you click. So let's try that together. It starts the same. Slap, clap, click, clap, slap, clap, click. Yeah? So let's try it from the top and let's see how we go. 1, 2, 3, and. Yes? Let's try it one more time together and then I'll continue with the presentation. So 1, 2, 3. Yes, maybe? If you got it wrong, don't worry. Failure is sometimes part of the fun and is important when we play games with our learners. So that is a warm-up exercise. It is an embodiment exercise. And it was important for me today to share that with you because our ethos in the Kickstarter Creative Arts project is all about doing. And it's about the methodology of experience. So what we do in the Kickstarter project is we train our teachers and take them through a step-by-step process of learning how to dance, how to create visual art, how to create performances. So it's very important that I take you on a journey of experience. So moving along, I'm assuming everyone can see my screen, yes? The Kickstarter Creative Arts project is run by Asitej South Africa and sponsored by Rand Merchant Bank, as you can see there. And what we do, as I've mentioned, is that it is an embodiment project. We train teachers, and essentially the Kickstarter Creative Arts Empowerment Project is an artist in residency project. So we work with facilitators who are themselves artists, performers, they could be specialists in music or dance, and we train them in the CAPS curriculum and intermediate phase, and then we pair them with the teacher in a school, and they work together with the teacher in the school. And this is a picture of one of our workshops with facilitators and teachers. In the background there, you can see some of the visual arts that we create through the project as well. So a little bit of background to the project. At the end of 2014, Rand Merchant Bank approached Asitej, and they said, we want to know what the arts do in schools. What is the impact of the arts within schools? And they kindly gave us free rein to say, you can choose what you want to do for this project, but at the end of the project, the pilot, we want to see what the arts actually does. And as far as we know, this is the first project in South Africa which has looked at the impact of the arts. There have been many international projects which have been run, but often the criticism is that that research would never work in a South African context. So what we did is we established a 2-year pilot project, which was from 2015 to 2016, with a lot of research going into it to kind of see what the monitor and evaluation and the impact was in 2017. And we created a case study. So we worked with an existing project. We kind of piggybacked an existing project, which was happening in KwaZulu-Natal and the Free State, working in 2 districts in each of those projects. And we worked in half the schools that that larger project was working in to try and create a case study and a comparison between the schools that were receiving the arts project, the Kickstarter Creative Arts project, and those that weren't. So this project that we piggybacked was called the PEP, the Primary Schools Education Project. It was looking at training teachers and management bodies of the schools in management, firstly, and then also in English literacy and maths literacy. So as I've said, Asitej came in with the project to work in half of those schools. And we were working in primary schools in the intermediate phase. So in the intermediate phase, I'm sure a lot of you know, creative arts is part of life skills. So there's not a lot of time for arts, and teachers are expected to work in 4 disciplines, which are performing arts, music, dance, and drama, and visual arts, which is quite an overwhelming task, as many of you know, particularly if you haven't studied the arts. So I think I've already said some of this. We worked in 5 schools per district in those 2 provinces. We trained artists, we sourced, put out a call for artists in those areas. We then trained those artists initially, particularly in the CAPS curriculum, in the outcomes, in the language, in the policy of all the subjects. And we took those artists through a series of step-by-steps in all those 4 disciplines I've mentioned. Now, obviously, these artists brought a lot of their own experience. A lot of them are trained in the various disciplines. And so through that, we created lesson plans, which we then put into a manual, which we gave to the facilitators and for the teachers. We are also training the teachers ongoing throughout the year with the facilitators. And the idea is that the facilitator would come into the classroom, work with the teacher. The facilitator would understand more about the classroom management and how a school works. And the teacher would be further equipped to be able to deliver creative arts. And the idea is that after 2 years, you know, the artist facilitator could step away and the teacher could continue to engage with the lessons and teaching creative arts. What we found is that a lot of the teachers, oops, what is this doing here? That's a mistake. Moving swiftly along. What we found is that a lot of the artist facilitators really started getting invested in education. And a lot of them have gone on to train to become teachers or have gone on to study further. So I've got a few photos of the project, of workshops, of working with facilitators and teachers. When we started the project, we sourced people who are specialists, very skilled in all 4 disciplines. Some of you might recognize Pedro, the music man, who's been working with Indigenous music in South Africa for years and came in to really train and equip a lot of our facilitators. And Pedro, I think, would say that he's wanting to pass on the legacy, a lot of his work that he's been doing to facilitators and teachers so that it can continue in the classroom. And this is obviously a drumming lesson, a music lesson that is happening here in a workshop. Here's a drama lesson. Some of our very passionate facilitators in a moment, I think, of tableau, frozen image. And here's one of our arts lessons. And in our arts lessons, we try very hard to engage with recycled materials, materials which are available, because the one challenge about teaching creative arts, and particularly visual arts, is the resources which are necessary. And it's quite a struggle often for teachers to continually be buying resources because particularly in the arts, they get used up. Your container of paint is, you know, finite. So we really engage with using newspaper, plastic bags, a lot of resources which are easily available and makes it more cost effective. And as I mentioned, here are some of our manuals, which we then give to the facilitators and the teachers so they can follow the step-by-step process of creating in the classroom. So this is a bit about our initial monitoring and evaluation in the project. As I said, we ran the project in 2015 and 2016. We did a lot of research before going into the schools, seeing where the teachers were through interviews and surveys. And then in 2016, towards the end of the year, and 2017, we did a lot of follow-up to see what the impact was of the project. Generally, the data we collected showed a uniform improvement across knowledge in implementing creative arts in intermediate phase. We also found that a lot of teachers had really got passionate about teaching creative arts and were establishing their own art spaces, were demanding art spaces, classrooms, dedicated spaces, bigger spaces, halls, etc., where they could do dance and other activities, as well as a lot of their performances starting to shape the culture of the school. So a lot of teachers and principals and HODs spoke about how, because the learners were now creating dances and artworks and performances, these were then part of their own cultural heritage celebrations or were displayed or used at parents' evenings, which was really encouraging to see that, you know, the project was stepping outside of the classroom and into the life of the school. So this is some of the data that we found as being part of the project and after all the monitoring and evaluation. At the beginning of 2015, we asked our teachers if they had been trained in creative arts. Now, keep in mind, these are teachers who are teaching in the classroom. And I think it says 89% of teachers said they'd received no formal training for the arts. Obviously, the question we asked at the end of 2016 and 2017 was different because we knew we trained the teachers. So we asked them primarily if they'd seen a change in their shifting and a change in their teaching, sorry. And 100% of teachers said yes, absolutely. The project has changed the way that I engage with creative arts. We then asked teachers if they had seen a relationship shift with their learners and if this created a more effective learning environment. Again, 100% said yes. So there's something about arts which creates an empathy or a connection in the classroom. 100% of teachers saw a change in their learners. And when we asked teachers what these changes were, these were some of the skills and the shifts that we saw. They were more curious, more creative, had greater discipline, more compassionate, better peer relations amongst each other, and better listening skills. So this was our answer when Rand Merchant Bank asked, what is the impact that the arts can make? These were some of the changes that our teachers and principals had seen in their learners. This is a lovely quote from one of our principals in a primary school in the Free State. I'm going to let you read it. It's quite a lengthy quote, but it talks to how the process that we adopt, which is a step-by-step process, that the principal believed that the learners were taking the skill on and applying it in their lives in general. So if I want to win a race, I know that I have to take the steps every day to train, to be prepared, to show up for myself so that I can achieve the end goal. And this is a hugely important life skill, the consistency, keeping going, trying to take each baby step to achieve an outcome, which was very valuable because, again, we see the repercussion of an arts project in other areas in the learners' lives. We also asked our teachers if they were applying the methodology to other subjects. Now, obviously, this wasn't relevant for teachers who were only teaching creative arts, but a huge majority said, yes, we are finding that when we use warm-ups or we use an embodied physical activity, the learners are more engaged. And so we've started applying a lot of these in our other subjects, in languages, in maths, in social sciences, in other subjects that the teachers are teaching. And then this is very briefly to say that at the end of the pilot project, 2015 and 2016, we had a showcase where we invited all the schools in the areas we were working in to come together and showcase some of their work. So really giving learners an opportunity to perform, to see what other schools are doing. We had art exhibitions, so teachers could bring the learners' work. And I have some photos of these. So that's some learners doing a beautiful dance. Some of the learners performing a performance, a drama piece they had worked on. And then these are some of the outcomes of the pilot project. We really found that the teachers understood the CAPS policy and the terminology. We had one teacher who told me about going for an HOD interview for a creative arts position. And they said that as they were talking, they just realized how much they had learned through the practical process of doing, that they could just talk about creative arts and the policy and the requirements. And so they said that there was an understanding that they almost didn't even know they had. As I've mentioned, some teachers are now insisting on only teaching creative arts. Some schools were starting to set up co-curricular activities, drama groups, dance groups, which was amazing to see. And we had a number of artist facilitators who've gone on to connect with schools, to do teaching degrees, to study further, for example, with Drama for Life, who's at an amazing wake-up activity this morning. So again, we're seeing the repercussions not only within the teachers and the learners, but also for our facilitators. So how we continued after our year in 2017 of evaluation and monitoring and presenting the research to Rand Merchant Bank, We then have expanded the project. So we went back to KwaZulu-Natal and the Free State where we were working, and we went to the schools who hadn't received the creative arts initially, because we were trying to do that comparison. We've also expanded the project into the Northern Cape, and I think we are currently working with 6 or 7 schools in the Francis Baard district in Kimberley. We've also were commissioned to write educational creative arts textbooks for intermediate phase in creative arts. But also what we've done is we've applied this methodology, the methodology of doing and using the creative arts, to the life skills textbooks, which are going to be rolled out very soon, we hope. So the practice and the methodology now in those textbooks for life skills from grade 4 all the way to grade 12 is with practical embodiment of lessons. I'm just checking, yes, I have mentioned that. Yes, and you can find out more about the project. That is our website. You can learn more about Assetej, become a member. But I would like to hand over now to Mpumi, who's with us, who's been a facilitator with the project since we began in 2015, and is a phenomenal performer and storyteller and artist in her own right. And I think it would be valuable to hear from her about the project and being involved.
Thank you so much, Alison. So I joined the project in 2015. Obviously, my speciality was in acting. And joining the project, I had found out that would be facilitated in music, visual arts, dance, as well as drama. And for someone who just has a drama background, when I heard that we're going to be doing visual arts, it was like, oh my goodness, I know nothing about that. But when we got into the project, we found out that it was so much easier. They have these easier steps to do things. Even music, I'm now confident in music. I'm now confident in kids.
Hi, Mpumi. Sorry to disturb you there. Just wanted to let you know that you've got 3 minutes left.
Thank you so much.
Perfect.
Thank you. So the project has been so helpful in my life in terms of my growth. And as Alison had mentioned, that some of us have now also ventured into doing our Bachelor's of Education degree. It is because of this program, or rather this project. So it has been very good and very helpful going to schools and seeing the growth in teachers from when we began, seeing the growth in the way that the teachers now love creative arts and now understand what is happening in this subject. So it has been so helpful and it has been such a beautiful journey. Thank you.
Thank you, Mpumi. I'm sorry I didn't give you lots of time. I think we ran out of time a bit. I've just been glancing through the chat, and there was a question about during lockdown. So obviously it was very tricky to access schools during our lockdown COVID period. What we did last year is we asked facilitators to create videos of various lessons, very short videos, which we then top and tailed with a kind of an intro and with our funders' logos and our logos. And we put those onto flash drives and have got those to teachers. In May, we were also able to visit all the schools to do some monitoring and evaluation to say, how is it going? Are you managing to teach creative arts? And we were also able to drop off resources. We gave a drum, a series of visual arts books, and a series of posters for their classrooms talking about the different disciplines. We are also starting, I'm very happy to say, we've been able to resume our workshops with teachers. We're not sure yet if we can go back into the classrooms, as we have been doing in the past, but we just started this last week continuing with our teacher workshops in KwaZulu-Natal and the Free State. We're still waiting for the go-ahead from Northern Cape, but we are managing now to interact, and we hope, we're still waiting to hear from the districts, but that we can get our facilitators and artists back into the classroom to work directly with the teachers.
Okay, Alison, thank you very much, Alison and Mpumi. There is a couple of questions. I'm just going to try to get to them as quick as possible. So there's 2 questions that one said, is this available in Eastern Cape? How can you get access to the project?
So we're not yet working in the Eastern Cape, unfortunately. Our dream is to be national by 2025. So please watch the space. We do have a representative, though, who works in the Eastern Cape. And if you would like to send me an email, I can possibly connect you. Was there another question? Sorry, I might have missed. I'm just
okay. Thank you. I think we'll end it there for today. Everyone, thank you, Alison. Thank you, Mpumi. Enjoyed this thoroughly. I know a few things now. How do you do it? I hope I can do it right. I hope I can do it right. Everyone, do remember that we are going back to our main session right now. Kemi will be presenting from 11 o'clock to 1 o'clock. And also, you will be joining in the session to be able to get your certificate. Do engage with us on all social media platforms using the hashtag CAC 2021. There's a lot of prizes up for grabs, so do enjoy some time, share content, engage with our social media platform on the chats and so forth. To Alison and Mpumi, thank you very much. And